What a joy that you have found us for this podcast. How exciting it is to think that this spiritual message is going out to people around this planet. Whether your life is working at a peak level or whether it can use some enhancement, have I got the message for you today. So get a piece of paper, get ready to take notes, call a friend, have them watch this podcast also. Then you too can have something to talk about and take it to a deeper level. So enjoy. Here we go. Hey, good morning, Seaside. Oh, what a joy it is to be with you on this fabulous day, this wonderful day, this day of graduation and culmination and commencement and new beginnings and endings. It is powerful just to be here on such a monumental day. And it's just a powerful weekend at Seaside. Friday night, we went through the rafters. When we bought this place, always envisioned what it would look like to have every spot on the floor filled with people. And Dr. Michael Beckwith was here. We had 750 people inside, 300 people out in the gardens. It took a tremendous team of individuals to manifest this miracle here at Seaside of over 1,000 people. I'd like to invite you to stand and I want to say thank you to everyone that it took to make Friday night a huge success. Now, I didn't see Linda Aguiano, but she's probably home recovering. But orchestrated it magically, masterfully, and really gives us an opportunity to why we can take a stance on how to be masterful manifestors. For this morning's message is about masterfully manifesting. I want so much for you to be able to create in your life what your heart desires, what your soul yearns for. Because you know what? You came into this world and you are not a beggar at this table of life. Rather, you are the honored guest at this table of life. You got that? You are the honored guest. It's not about begging, oh God, can I please, do you think you could spare? You are the honored guest, and you have all been given equal access to the infinite. There is a power that has given it all, the grace of God, the love of God, the power of God, the allness of God has already been given, and we each have equal access to it. We came into this world with 2 hands and 2 feet. Everyone started off the same. There's not a special gene pool or a special species or race upon this planet that gets the goodies. We all have equal access. You are the honored guest. And I want you to be a masterful manifestor. I want you to be able to choose gloriously in your life, to gloriously choose what goes on in your heart. I want you to be able to honor the wild wishes of your being, not like the freeze-dried ones, not the bland ones, not the politically correct ones, not the mild wishes and desires. I want that something that stirs in your heart that makes you want to swim across that ocean, scale the tallest mountain, or cross the desert in the middle of the summer, crooning gratitude for that journey that turns you on, that brings you passion, that brings you an aliveness. And for you to do that, you got to give up the victim consciousness. Ooh. Not that you've got it, but that victim consciousness. It's easy to tell who's got the victim consciousness. There's like these trademarks. Like one of them is blame. You're not going to be a masterful manifester if you're into blame. If you are constantly saying, oh, it's his fault, I can't do it because of how where I was born or what I've got in my life now, that blame points the finger. It points the finger at the economy. It points the finger at the government. It points the finger at the stock market. It points the finger at the real estate market, the stock brokers, even God, for that matter, gets the finger. The finger gets pointed everywhere, but more. See, that's a true sign of victim consciousness. They are looking for blame, and as they're blaming, they're complaining. There's another sign. You're not going to see a masterful manifestor complaining about things in their life. That complaint is it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Have you ever noticed those that complain always have something to complain about? It's no accident. It's called the law of cause and effect. Mental equivalent. One's intention. Where your attention goes, the energy flows. You know the cliches. Yeah. Those that are complaining, man, that's nasty stuff. I tell you, start running. You hear a complainer, it is insidious. It is infectious. It just sucks people in. And you take off because they start justifying their complaints. It's just, it's God. It's not me. I just don't have it in my life. It's trying to create. I just don't have the money, and they blame it, and they say money's just not that important to me. Yeah. Someone who says that, I can tell you they're broke. Masterful manifestors know that it's important to be able to master that aspect of this thing called life, because money's important where money's important. Now, it's not important where it's not important, but people say, love is more important than money. You guys have heard my perspective on that. Anybody who says love is more important than money is making, in my perspective, a ridiculous comparison. It's like, what's more important, your legs or your arms? What's more important? Your legs? Maybe they're both important. Maybe in this world in which we function, in this physical world, that money is very necessary, and to get that handled in your life is imperative, so it doesn't suck your time, your energy, your thought, your attention, so you don't have that parasitical draw pulling your attention away from knowing God. Love may make the world go round, but it doesn't pay your mortgage. Notice that? Try sending love to pay your Visa bill. See what happens. Which is why I said money is important where money is important, and money is absolutely not important where it's not important. And so what you got to do is realize that you steer your ship. You're the captain of your ship. Take the steering wheel of your car. You are the producer of your life. You are the architect of your world. All those different sayings. What is imperative if you want to be a masterful manifester? I want you to so much. To be that is to take charge of your life. Those that are masterful manifestors, those that are successful in their life are creators. They create. And those who are into struggle, those who are poor, those whose lives are not working and are complaining all the time, they feel life happens to them. Think about that. They feel life happens to them. It's from something from the outside. And they go and they buy lottery tickets. Not that there's anything wrong with buying lottery tickets. We all like to win the lottery. But when it's your primary strategy for prosperity, you might want to look at that. If you're spending half your paycheck on lottery tickets, you may want to take a look at that something's not quite right there. Something may be out of balance in your world. Out of balance. But when something's out of balance, it's a time to adventurize it. See, masterful manifestors come to those times in their lives where there's a mountain, where there's a situation, where it takes something to overcome that, and it becomes an adventure. I want you to adventurize those challenging places in your life when you all of a sudden buckle down and say, okay, God, this is the time where I get to believe. This is the time where I get to choose to fly. I want you to adventurize those challenges and those problems, whether it is physical, financial, relationship. I want you to turn it into a spiritual adventure to call forth the glory of God in your life greater than you've ever done before. That's called being optimistic. And you do that in the face of a complainer, it pisses them off. It is so fun. And then you get to make it happen, which is fun for you. You get to know those glorious choices that you made with your heart, that you decide to take that steering wheel, that you decided to fly and to soar, that you really are that honored guest, allows you to be that conduit and that expression for God. Because you know what? God needs you. God needs you to be manifested. Because you talk about God, God's Spirit. God's Spirit. It's unmanifested, and that Spirit is creative. It is expressive, and without you, it has no creation. Without you, it is unexpressed. Without you, it is just Spirit floating around wherever it floats around. You are needed, which is blasphemy, I know, to some traditional beliefs, but the truth is you are Spirit expressing at the level in which you have individualized it. You can be that masterful manifester. I want you to take this class with me this week. I'm going to give you the principles and the laws that respond to you on the things you can choose to do to bring about those heartfelt dreams. It's mathematical principles that work in your life. You know, you take a look at those that are winning. You look at those that are creating. You look at those that are masterful manifestors. They play to win. Yeah, there's no question in their mind. They're going to put it on the line. They're going to adventurize any challenge that is there. They're playing to win, and they're not playing just to make it. Where those who are into struggle, they play not to lose. You think about that? They play not to lose. Okay, this is what I got. I'm not going to lose it. You know, I'm not going to lose my retirement. I'm not going to lose the security. I'm not going to lose this level of comfort I have in my life. Those individuals that create miracles, those masterful manifestors, play to win, and they play to bring forth the creation because they are imperative to the success of God's expression here in this world, and that is you. You are one of those masterful manifestors that is able to create. Too often people just don't want to lose. They just, they're just happy, to making ends meet. I listen to people who don't want to lose say, if I could just pay all my bills on time, I'd be happy. One step above that, if you move beyond, just don't want to lose. One step above that is called, I just want to be comfortable. I just want to be comfortable. There's a big difference between being comfortable and being free. Being comfortable is you get to go to a restaurant when you want to, but you're looking at the prices. Being free is you're not afraid of the word market value. I love this story from the Bible of from the prophet Elijah. There was a widow who was about to have her son taken from her to pay off her debt. She was unable to pay her debt, and she went to Elijah, who was known for being able to manifest. I mean, if you can wake up and find cakes on the rocks out in the desert waiting for you in the morning, that's pretty good. Or you have ravens deliver your food. That was before home delivery. That's pretty good. And she said, help. And he said, what do you have? She said, well, I've got some, meal, like grains, a meal for bread, a little crumbs of that left, a couple drops of oil. And he said, great, bring them. I want them. It's like, oh, my goodness. And he says, I want you to bake that last bit of meal for bread for me. And it's like, oh, my goodness. Here's a person. They're down to the very last bit they have, and you're telling it to come give it to me? That's like rude. But she followed because she knew he was a masterful manifester, using the spiritual principle of circulation, using the spiritual principle that says you've got to put it out there, even that which you have. And she said, close the windows, close the shutters, turn off the outside, turn off that world chatter, turn off the fear, and start pouring that oil in as to many vases or vases or crusts or whatever you pour oil into in those days until you will feel it's enough. And she poured, for those 2 drops kept coming from until she filled enough for her, for Elijah, for her son, until all the containers were full, and she decided to stop. And where did it come from? It came from within. It came from inside of her being shut down the outside world, turned the lights off, chose to practice the spiritual principles that we know that says use what you have, not defend it. I don't want to lose my 2 drops of oil. I'm not going to defend it. I'm going to take the wheel of this car and I am going to cruise to wherever it is I want to go because I am free. I am the honored guest in this banquet of life. I'm not a beggar saying, oh, please, God, would you help me out of this one? Joel Goldsmith, phenomenal presence and consciousness in the New Thought movement, truly an absolutist, wrote this great book called Living by Grace. I'd like to share with you a paragraph he wrote. It said, you must share without expectation of return, without any bargaining about it. Sharing with your family or friends from whom you could expect a return, it's not sharing. It is a form of bargaining. Most people have no problem sharing with their wives, husbands, children, or with their parents. It's a little more difficult when you start going outside to the neighborhood children and then down the street and over into Africa and China. To demonstrate supply, then, we must first ask ourselves not who will give to us or what is there for us to get, but what do I have in my house that I can begin to pour, to share? For somewhere within ourselves, we have to find a few drops of oil or an old pair of shoes or a few pennies in our purse. We must find something that we can give and pour and shine. We can find some forgiveness for someone. We can perform some service for someone. For when you're serving man, you're serving God. And the Master said, inasmuch as you have done unto the least of my brothers, you have done unto me. Okay. I know we know that, right? We got it. We've got it at the intellectual level. We know that we must share those last couple drops of oil. I mean, my goodness, I'm looking over here. This little guy, he got his $10 last week. He had mom stop at the store and buy brownie mix. Did you sell out your brownies between services? Today, they're there. How exciting. You know, he took what it was given and is multiplying it. My goodness, a young example for us. We intellectualize this stuff. We know this stuff. But are you practicing it? Are you living it? Are you being that activity of the spiritual principle of circulation there? You know, you get to decide what level you're going to play at. You're going to play at the level I don't want to lose. You can play at the level to win. You know what? You get to see what level you're playing at because your life reflects the level you have chosen to play in terms of your flow. You know, your finances give you an opportunity to see where your ceiling is. I had people say, but I've been that place creating good dollars for a long time, and I seem to have nothing left over. Whatever I seem to create, it seems to spend. You don't have to fess up. I say, okay, so it's time to set a new level. It's time to step out there. You know, we are dealing with that which is truly infinite. I don't care if you're making $50,000 a year, $500,000 a year, or $5 million a year. You can recalibrate, you can reset, you can reframe your consciousness to create at a whole new level. We're dealing with infinite possibilities and potentiality here. Are you living with the freedom that you desire? Are you doing what it is your heart wants to do? Dr. Michael Beckwith shared with us on Friday night from Alice in Wonderland what the Queen said, to go out and have 6 miracles before breakfast. Are you doing that? Is there something inside of you that would like to eradicate AIDS in Africa or on this planet? Eliminate the hunger upon the planet or the homelessness. There is more for us to do when we begin to open our heart and to listen to that. And you know what? Your world will show the results of your consciousness. Your world shows you where you are. The financial level in which you are in your life is a result. You got that? It is a result of your consciousness and your thinking. Like I said, it doesn't matter if you're playing at $1 million a year or $10 million a year. It is a result of your consciousness. Your health, it's a result of your awareness. It is your consciousness. Your relationship is a result of your consciousness. Your body, your relationship, your finances, your work, they are all results. We live in a world of cause and effect. What we get to see is the effect. What we get to see is the mathematical, precisional outcome of our thinking. It is done unto you as you believe, is what the master teacher told us. See a tree, and the fruit is on the tree. And you don't like the fruit on the tree? You don't try to change the fruit on the tree. What do? You got to go to the roots. And if something's sour or not right on that tree, you've got to go to the roots. You've got to go to that which is below the surface. You've got to go below the surface. Ernest Holmes, founder of religious science, says that which is visible comes from the invisible. That which is not seen creates that which is seen. Thought follows form. Our thought creates. This is what it's all about. And so our life, the fruitage of our life are the results. They are the effects. If you want to be a masterful manifester, you've got to practice with what it is you have in your life now. Not afraid you're going to lose, but that you are a part of this co-creative expression of God, that what you're dealing with is truly infinite. With God, all things are possible, and you are of that possibility. You are of that spiritual expression. And so I'm willing to go beyond the surface, the realm of effects, and know that if I want to change in my life, it is not about changing the fruit or changing the effects, but I've got to go below below the surface to the roots, to what is under the ground. I have got to close the curtains and go inside and begin to pour from a sense of knowingness that it will continue to pour at the level in which I believe. Because I'll tell you what, the options are infinite in life. There are so many options for you to be able to employ, to engage in your glorious choices, your heart that has a power and a potential and a possibility and a potency to create. To find that which will turn you on to scale those mountains. Not the freeze-dried ones, but the ones that turn you on. You're not going to discover at your lunch break, on a hard day's work, at the water cooler. You're probably not going to find your destiny at the water cooler at your lunch break. It takes a little bit more time. Find out, to get in touch. To step away from that life that is keeping you from your outer good. To get in touch. So many people have forgotten who they are, what is in their soul, what is in their spirit. It takes time to meditate, to get in touch, to remember, to feel, to sense that's something that has never been forgotten. That part of you that Ernest said has never been violated. That's something that will get so turned on that all of a sudden something clicks. It's as if there's this organic law of nature that brings a sweetness, a divineness that allows you to stop looking outside for the lures and the cures and the cruises and the parties and the drinks and the bungee jumping excursions and the high-end retail stores to lift you up. You're not going to need a pick-me-up anymore because your feet will already be floating off the ground. Your heart will be singing. You're going to be dancing in your living room all by yourself. Because you know what? Spirit needs you to express itself. It wants you to say yes. It is there. It is there. It is knocking. The grace of God has already been given. The allness, as I started this morning, said has already been given. Everything is there. It is waiting for you to say yes to it. The mystics and the sages and the seers and the gurus and the deep spiritual folks did not have a monopoly on this spiritual presence, this one-mindedness of God, their ability to be masterful manifestors. That was not a monopoly. It has been given to us all equally. We all have equal access because you are part of the divine gene pool. You are part of the beloved. And I want so much for you to have this. I want with all my soul for you to be able to know the freedom in your life. I encourage you to sign up for this class that I'm doing. It is short, quick, and cheap because your life has got to work. I can't force it upon you. It's like giving somebody medicine who doesn't want the medicine. You've got to take it. We're told, I stand at the door and knock. That's what we're told by the Master. I stand at the door and knock, and those that hear who have the ears will open the door and invite me in to sup. Those who have the ears will open their consciousness, will open their awareness to the spiritual principles that are usable, demonstrable, provable. You are a masterful manifester. You may be manifesting what you don't want, but you're already a masterful manifester. And as you get in touch with that, you'll begin to be on that mystical path like those sages. Those wonderful, the goal of the mystical is to be a beholder of God in all things. It is to be the activity of God. It is to be that open door and that channel, no longer having somebody knocking, but rather being that transparency. So you're not reaching outside, but you are that place where heaven touches earth, where the divine vision has form, is your very life. I want this for you, even from a selfish point of view, because the more of us who step into that realm of spiritual awareness, we loose into the collective consciousness more of the Christ consciousness, more of the Christ awareness, more of the beautiful possibilities for humanity. As your life is working, it works better for Seaside. We'll be able to finish off our walls and build our schools. It is selfish for me, for humanity, for those sitting around you, for life in general. So I'm encouraging you to be a masterful manifestor. Take hold of that wheel and let your glorious choices of your heart guide you with a sense of not going to lose, but I'm going to win because I am co-creating with the master creator, God itself. God bless us as we do this. So I'd like to invite the ushers to come forward as we do take our gift from our heart. Again, with a lot of heart and soul and passion. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am prosperous now. Hey, I trust you enjoyed that podcast. It was very exciting to be able to create that and to know that there are people like you all around the world that are observing and integrating these spiritual principles into their life. And so if you enjoyed it, what I'd like to do is encourage you to tell a friend or bring several friends together and watch another one of these podcasts, and then afterwards take some time to talk about the spiritual principles, to talk about the stories and what significance they have and relevance they have in your life. What then happens is it moves to a deeper and deeper level in your world. It becomes real and assists you to create the freedom in your life that your heart and soul so desire. So if you like this, I encourage you to watch it again, but also tune into our website here at seasidecenter.org. There, you can get some of my written material and take a look at it. You can read some of my spiritual prayers. You can even go to our online bookstore and order some of the books. And if you're so moved, what I greatly would appreciate is your financial support, which you could do online at seasidecenter.org. It is support like yours that assists us to be able to continue to do these kinds of gifts for humanity and send it out to the world. Because you know what? We are making a difference with this spiritual message. And because of support like yours, people are being touched in the farthest reaches of this planet, as well as our backyard, more than we could ever begin to realize. So I thank you from the fullness of my heart for making a difference.